All right, we are kicking off Tuesday morning, 43 degrees, mid-November. Riding the city bike to Chelsea. This time again, we're gonna go through Central Park. It is definitely, I don't know, it is, well, obviously it's the fastest route. Questionable if it's the most desirable, but I think it is. Here's a Tesla T790873 in the bike lane. Even electric cars can block the bike lane. Imagine that. If I ever have any free time, I will work on my automated bike lane reporting camera system. But I feel like until then, I don't have the time. Whew! A little brisk today. Got a truck right behind me. Please don't kill me. B. Rusciano with your entire license plate blocked off. Wow. All right. Fall in love with fooding and these gigantic trucks with giant gaps where you get pulled under and die when they make wide turns. I saw a truck like that one time here, right over here, turning, and it's one of its wheels hit it blew out. That's what happened. It was right here on the corner here, and it hit the curb, and the wheel, like the tire, blew out, right? And these aren't like little tires. It's not like a bike tire. It was like a fucking explosion, and it was right next to a garbage can, and it like knocked the garbage can, you know, a couple inches. Like, that's how forceful this thing was. It was loud, and thank God there was nobody like within, you know, 20 feet of that thing. But I was like walking my dog, and there were there were other people out. It wasn't like in the middle of the night or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I saw that, I was like, this is why we shouldn't have these giant trucks in the middle of a goddamn city making tight turns around these like roundabouts and things. Like, it's crazy. All these trucks should be stationed way outside the city and transferred to smaller like vans for their actual drop. But when you see people actually, when you see like the Whole Foods trucks and things like that, like a lot of these giant like Rite Aid trucks and stuff that I've seen, when they're unloading, they're like not, it's not like the truck is full of stuff, you know? And granted, I'm probably seeing a tiny slice of like what they're actually doing, but when I'm looking at like, you know, what they're doing, they're not like loading these massive amounts of stuff. And even if they were, wouldn't you scratch your head and be like, is this like the most efficient way to do it? To like block up all traffic, spend an entire day and unload all of this stuff all at once. I don't think that's how people buy stuff. I don't think that's how inventory works. I think it's like certain things, you know, supply of certain inventory goes down, other things stay for a little longer, right? So it's not like you need to replenish the entire store in one day. And I don't even know if that's, it appears as if they're not doing that at all, and they're only replenishing things that they you know, actually sell. Now I don't know. I don't know the first thing about this shit, so I could be making all this up, and that's fair. Still, though, other countries, other cities do this, and you do not see a single gigantic truck in these other cities in the way that we have positioned them, right? These giant tractor trailers just loading in the middle of wherever. And it's not like there's no stores in Europe, you know? Like, sure, a lot of stuff is smaller there, but it's kind of insane what we are cool with, and what yeah, and how dangerous it is, and sort of super inefficient, really inefficient use of space. So riding the Central Park loop. I'm sniffling so much I can hear it. I know it's all over the audio. So this is pretty nice because it's obviously very quiet, except for me shouting. But it's like very minimal sort of traffic. It's very wide, you know, it's pretty spacious. I mean, I don't have to sell you that Central Park is an amazing park. But I think as like a bike commuting route, it's, you know, it's pretty cool. Like, you have pretty wide visibility, there's nothing stopping you, there's no impediments, like there's no bollards and stuff. You don't have to navigate around cars or stop at red lights or anything like that. You do have hills. Hills can be a little challenging, but you know, get a little exercise, build up a little sweat. I did flywheel last night. 45-minute class, did 3:39, which ain't bad, which is pretty good. It was #1 in the class. Now granted, I think there was a bunch of dudes that did not have their scores up on the leaderboard. You can select whether or not you want to do that, but still, for me and the 2 other guys that were on the leaderboard, and the, I don't know, 10, 12 women, I was at the top. My name is like an ASCII character of the, it's basically just ASCII. It's not readable. It doesn't say my name, Jeff. It just is like the ASCII guy flipping a table. Like the angry guy flipping a table. It doesn't read too well on the board. Kind of just looks like gibberish. But somebody else actually had a similar thing on the board last night, and it was just like a little cat with like cat ears, and that was pretty cute. I was like, that I can get behind. I can recognize what that is. It's pretty funny. Mine, I see it every time I see it. I'm like, who is that? What is this? And I'm like, oh, that's me. That's what I put in as my name. So that's fun. But yeah, haven't done flywheel in a while. Always want to check kind of, you know, it's a metrics driven spin class, and really good way to evaluate your, you know, bike ability. And ain't bad. I mean, that's pretty high. It's probably in my top 10 rides. I think my top is 350, which is pretty high. That's very high. It's a very, very hard number to hit. I think I could have hit 350 if I didn't do the arms part of the class. Did do the arms, so I was kind of just riding with almost no resistance, barely even spinning for you know, a good couple of minutes. And so now, understandably, my legs are a little tired, because that was just last night. But I'll tell you, city bike really gets you in shape. at least for biking. No doubt about that. You got these heavy bikes. I don't know, they're like 50 pounds. Tires are basically kind of flat. I think this dude. Wheelies. We got wheelies. Yes, the tires are kind of flat. Bike's super heavy. There's only 3 gears. Forces you to really work out, you know. I don't really stand on a city bike. So I'm never in 3rd or 2nd position. Have some more sniffles for you. What else? So they're putting down these bus bulb outs, or the I don't know what they're called, the pickup platforms, bus platforms, or islands, or floating bus platforms. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but so DOT posted a picture of this on Instagram, and immediately a whole bunch of people comment, and they're like, you know, they're like, they should be spending money on smart things, not this stupid stuff. This is what a waste of money. Da da da. I see these kind of arguments form with well-meaning people sort of stepping in, trying to politely articulate the reasons behind these measures, which clearly have benefits. I mean, this is like very well-established stuff. This is not like complex, well, will it work or will it won't? It's not like unproven technology. It's like extremely proven. Every other city does it. It's insane that we don't. And so we're just catching up to like 1980 for most of the world. And yet you have these nincompoops being like, this is a stupid idea. And you just wonder, like, what a world might look like if these nincompoops were like running all the decisions, you know? Because clearly they come across as like knowing everything. They're experts in the field of transportation policy and, you know, moving people efficiently and safely and all of that. Like, obviously they're experts, you know, but at least that's how they come across. But then, you know, the stuff they say is like, you know, shoot from the hip. I own a car. I don't see this thing. I see that thing. No, so one of the comments was amusing because it sort of devolved into just bikes versus cars, you know, debate. And the person's argument was, how could you have a family and bike? That's insane. Nobody does that. That's not possible. Like, literally, like, it's an impossibility. And you're like, all right, this is a person who, like, not only has no imagination, but they probably represent quite a number of people who are in a similar mindset, right? Who cannot fathom that people do any of this, and clearly have not traveled at all. Because you would never say this if you ever traveled to like most of these, you know, cities that have large populations that are families that get around by bike, and you see a variety of modes. You see highly functional transit. If you were in any other city, you would see these bus platforms, these floating platforms, you know, that jut out from the curb, and they make it so that the bus doesn't have to turn. It goes straight, and it does not have to pull in to a bus spot. All of this is to say we should just get rid of the goddamn cars and make everything a busway. A busway, it simply means just don't have cars blocking anything. And then buses can do whatever they want. Then yeah, you don't need the floating islands. It doesn't really matter because there's nothing blocking anyone. It would still make it more efficient because turning means a bus has to slow down in a different way, and they have to maneuver, right? It's the same reason why for example, in Amsterdam, similar, the ferries opened from the front and the back. So they did not have to turn. They did not have to physically turn around and position themselves in awkward ways. They literally just went straight across the water, opened up the front, everybody got out, everybody got in, they closed it up, and then they just zoomed what the equivalent would be backwards, like in reverse. But motors go in both directions, and the whatever the entrances and the exits, or whatever the parts of the boat that fold down, open and close on both sides kind of equally. So it went back to in this case Central, and just opened on the other side, and literally does that, you know, 20 times an hour or whatever, 10 times an hour, because it's so hyper efficient. So they can do that. Same thing with the bus. You don't want to have to like position a bus into some slot and then, you know, line everything up and then open it up and then let people on. You want to easily roll up, open up all three doors, everybody gets on, everybody gets off, super efficient. And then of course, as a bus rider waiting, you want to wait, you know, you want to wait in an extended sort of platform that's really safe and comfortable. Nice. Oh, that's cool. Now that is a Dutch bike right there. What you see in front of me is what you see quite a bit of in Amsterdam and all over the Netherlands. Super cool. This guy's already way ahead of me because I'm like hustling here on the city bike. So anyway, yeah, so somebody was arguing that you couldn't possibly raise a family or like have a family ride in a bike. Like, it's preposterous. It's insanity. It's like teleporting or time travel. You know, it's an impossibility. I mean, the way that these people talk, it's kind of like, you're like, what is their world like? And have they ever seen like a bike with some groceries on it? Because they're like, how could you possibly fit 2 children on a bike? A family of 4 could not possibly ride around a bike. They have to have an SUV. That is the only option. And people responded like, you know, I've taken groceries on the bus. I've taken groceries on the subway. Don't understand what you're talking about. And they're like, but I live in, you know, whatever Brooklyn or whatever Queens, in the middle of nowhere where you have to drive. And you're like, yeah, so you should be arguing the loudest for buses, for really fast buses, right? For like really functional, safe infrastructure, not just saying this is a stupid waste of money. We shouldn't spend any money on anything that helps, you know, millions and millions of people get around the city more efficiently. Obviously that'd be a stupid waste of money. You know, like, what would these people do as mayor or whatever, or like a dictator or something. All right, so I'm gonna go kind of slow here because there's a red light up there. Oh, isn't it interesting? They can go. They actually don't have the walk signal. Yeah, they don't have a walk signal. So I had the right of way there, but they should have the walk signal because it's kind of an odd maneuver there, because nobody is. That's like a relic from when Central Park allowed cars to roll off out of Central Park. You can see down there, now Central Park is car free, but the lights haven't really been updated. So those people should have had a walk signal to cross 7th Avenue. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. I got 30 blocks to go. Well, a little less than 30 blocks now. 57th Street here. Somebody's screaming. Yep. Someone's screaming. And the fun begins, where everybody is racing to get to a light where they will average about 9 miles an hour here. GRB 2836 in his Land Rover, or sorry, Range Rover. Oh, this is some guy's driver. Oh, this is like a professional driver here. Hey, how's it going? So it's an interesting kind of aspect. Rich people who can afford their own, like, professional drivers that are not even licensed by the TLC. They just literally are like on their own payroll. They don't function as businesses. That's what this looks like. I'm not going that fast. I mean, I am going a little bit fast, but I'm not like hustling. And so let's see if I can beat the Range Rover here. I don't really want to beat anybody, actually. I just want to get to where I'm going. Oh man, I got a bus here and some other crap. I don't want to go. I don't want to go in between here. Oh, interesting. It's an M20. All right, I'm gonna pull on up. And wow, this road is closed. That's cool. So this guy see me. This giant truck. Hello, truck driver. Do you see me? No, you don't. Because you're an asshole. No, you're not an asshole. You're just driving a giant truck. So you should be really, really aware of everything around you. Whoop. And we got it. That was a little tight. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little tight. I'm gonna go over here. Ooh, you got a gap here. T663564. You are able to bypass these 5 cars and then stop and then wait to merge in. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God, imagine if all these people were on bikes. It's like, how delightful would it be, right? So here's this little cool bike lane, bike path, where you're flanked by this giant truck that if at any moment he opens this door, you will get decapitated. That almost happened to me once. I mean, not here, but I was riding kind of close to just a stationary box truck. The guy just threw open his door because you can't see anything. He couldn't see me, I couldn't see him. And it's kind of a dangerous move. That's dangerous.
Ai, não bota o boné, não bota o óculos, não bota o seu pé, tem que ser dentro. Bota reto.
And the fun begins now. And by fun, I mean the opposite, of course. Oh yeah, look at this. This is functional right here. This garbage. Look at this garbage. Like, are you kidding me here? Like, what the hell is this shit? Oh, here's one of the bus things. Look at this. That's awesome. So this is a that's the floating, that's the island. Holy crap, it's the entire stretch of the block. That's great. It's got ramps on either side. And that is nice. That's really nice. Now you just need to get rid of all the goddamn cars. Whoa. Anybody wanna? No? Okay. Got it. You just blindly walk through. Cool, cool, cool. I mean, that's on me, right? I'm cycling. And, you know, gotta be wary of everybody. But like, this would not, like, look at this stretch here. There's no cars here. I mean, there's cars that are parked. But like, imagine that this whole stretch has no parked vehicles on either side, and it's just this big wide open space with better signage and better paint on the ground, right? So you're like, all right, this is where cyclists should go. We got ProTech waterproofing here in his 4x4, gunning it half a block at 38th and 7th. That's a great way to kill a bunch of people. That guy should lose his license for doing behavior like that. And you see how like calm this could be. And you know, and so people clearly like want this. They're already sort of peeking out of trucks and peeking out of these like little spots, and they're crossing the street when they don't have the light, because they recognize that like when there are no cars, it's totally safe. It's not jaywalking. It's a stupid term, you know. This guy pulled out pretty hard here. Oh, I got 8 seconds. I can get through this. So you got like a street like this with literally no paint on the ground. I mean, look at this. It's just, there's no paint. Nothing that instructs anybody what to do. You know, you've got this like crap. You've got a line of taxis out here, and it's dysfunctional. The whole thing is dysfunctional. Taxis not really a problem. Like, this wouldn't be a problem if, say, there was concrete, right, and they like that lane over there was just a concrete protected lane with a strip, right? So they were clearly in kind of a bay, and they could not go left or right or whatever. And then if they eliminated all the other cars, if they just eliminated about 3 lanes of traffic, car traffic here, and open it up to real traffic, which is humans, all these humans coming out of Penn Station. Look at this Penn Station. First thing you're greeted by here is like having to run across the street because there's like 12 lanes of cars and honking and soot and all this garbage. What are you honking at? Eat shit and die. And you're all just like not doing shit here. That's what you're doing. Who are you honking at? Honk at these motherfuckers. Honk at the 27 cars here who are all stopped trying to make a left onto 30th Street. Honk at the Jersey drivers who block the road, right? Like look at how clogged that shit is. I don't know if you can tell. It's all the way clogged, all the way back. This is dysfunction. This is de Blasio dysfunction. Now we're finally on a bike lane. Like a real, somewhat protected bike lane. Protected as long as you don't get hit at the intersections. Right? Like, does this look protected to you? No, it does not. This does not look protected. This looks like death. I'm gonna go across the street here. Inching up. I don't understand inching up. Like the car should just be like, okay, there's a red light, stop moving. There's no more movement. You don't get to move. This guy, this Jersey driver just went through a red light. B67 KRC in his Dodge. He's probably a cop. I'm gonna bet $1 that he has a placard. But I can't tell. I can't catch up to him, so I'm not gonna try. But anyway, that is my ride. Thanks for tuning in. Always fun. This is biketalk.nyc with your host, Jeff. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. There we go.